All right, so I have two new indicators here, and these indicators are going to be based off of delta, right? So what is delta? Delta is the difference between buyers and sellers as they enter the markets, all right? And we're basing this on a time and a candle. So specifically, we're on a 1 minute chart, right? So normally delta is on a footprint chart, and we usually use something minuscule, right? Like a 500 tick or 2000 tick chart. So we're just going to use minute charts on TradingView, and we're only going to look at the 1 minute, 2 minute, and 3 minute, right? Because this is where basically the delta is looked at. And how we use delta is you just want to see that short imbalance to give you enough push to get in for 25 to 75 ticks, right? If you can get the tip off that buyers are coming into the market and you can take advantage of that when they get in, you're going to be able to pick up 25 to 75 ticks depending on where you enter and how strong the move is. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so now that you understand what delta is, these are the delta bars, the extreme, or these are the delta bars that are showing. So if we scroll down here and let's make this large, this lesion right here. And so normal candles are going to be this dark green color, right? Normal candles meaning normal in volume. Heavier volume is going to be light, and the extreme is going to be the lightest. Now on the sell side, the regular maroon candles are going to be normal volume. The higher volume candles are going to be pink, and the extreme volumes are going to be orange. All right. So what does it mean when you can get that extreme bar? So two things. If you can get in on that extreme move, you're going to pick up at least 50 to 100 ticks based on that 100, or I'm sorry, based on that extreme bar, right? So the other thing though is that extreme bar usually follows up with the reversal to the other side, right? It could be delayed by one, like this one is right here, or it could snap back and automatically be a reversal. All right, these are just heavy volumes, right? But if you would have took this as it's coming down, let's say you got in when this hit the 50% line, you got a little bit of push down. It continues to push down, and as it's coming back through the 50% line, you take a long on that reversal. As the next candle opens, right, you get the jump. So you would get the long right here, right at the bottom, and then you get this little push up, right? Or I'm sorry, it's this one right here, right? This little push up, right? As this comes down here, is push up, it's 143 ticks, right? Now you look at that and you're saying, yeah, but it finished up as a red candle. It did close as a red candle, but probably before it started, it was a different color. All right. So if you got in way down here on this bar and you're able to take this up a little bit, even though it settled back down, you still would have picked up at least 25 ticks. Right? That's a total of 170 ticks. So if you look in there and you built in 25 ticks, you're gonna probably get that. All right, that's about 5 points. Okay, on the NQ, that's a good amount of average there. 5 points. If you can get 5 points per trade, you're gonna finish with a decent amount of money. All right, so the deltas usually are shown on footprint charts with level 2 data. Now I've created this without either one of them to emulate what level 2 data looks like, right? All right, so just to let you see what the difference is on NinjaTrader, which has tick data, unlike TradingView, it only gets down to the seconds, right? True tick data can show you tick for tick what price is going to be at. So here's the open right here, and if you compare that to the open on TradingView, right, which is right here, say 9:30 that I marked right here, you get this candle going up right here, which is going to be right here, right? This is a candle right here. And then you get this candle taken off, and you get another candle going up. This is the real tick data. This is TradingView's second data, right? 1 second data. That's the best you can do on TradingView. So it's pretty similar, okay? What I try to do is emulate that when I coded it to make it look like tick data, and it's on second data. So it's not going to be as precise as the tick data. Nevertheless, you're going to be able to use this now on TradingView. Now this is what a chart looks like when you're using it on a footprint chart. All right, so here's a footprint chart. Same thing. Here's that same move, and you can see price is going higher, and you get the positive delta, jumps up. Right, this is how those bars look like. All right, so if we can take that, and this is made basically by the footprint chart. So in other words, you would need the footprint chart to produce these type of bars. However, what I've created is the same thing that you would be able to see on a footprint chart without the added cost and the purchase of a new indicator right here on TradingView, right? So if you look at that, this is second data, 1 second data, right? And a little note there, in order to get this, you have to have a Pro Plus account or higher, meaning that you have a Pro Plus or a premium account. All right, if you have that, you can get the second data. Doesn't mean this 1 second chart, it means the data coming in. All right, so if we go to DPO and the settings, it shows 1 second data. Okay, so basically we're capturing the second data, and it's looking at this and it's saying this is an extreme bar, right? This is actually came down as a reversal, so this probably came down and went back up, and then you have 2 other extreme bars going up. All right. Now, the significance of that is you can't hide delta. Delta is out there. If you have the right indicator, you can take a snapshot of that delta and look at that and say, okay, well, the delta reading on here is XYZ, right? And in our case, the extreme delta on a 1 minute chart should be around 2500 delta. Now on TradingView, that's not going to be accurate, right? But all we're looking for is a number that shows when we can get in and take advantage of that extreme data. All right, the opposite would be true with the orange bar going down. All right, so we have the pink and the orange, the pink being heavy volume, and then the orange being extreme volume. All right, it's going with the trend right here. So if this was coming down, it'd be different, but obviously this market's going higher. All right, that's the delta pulse oscillator. That's the first indicator. The second indicator is an addition to that. We'll turn that on here, and it's called the DPO panel version 3.0. All right, that's just how many edits that I've made. So if we look at that, and let's put this in the middle of the chart, we have 1 second data. We want to sync that with the DPO down there, right? And let's drop this down. We're going to enable ES, right? Come down here and look at the colors, right? So when we get to extreme levels, which means during the New York hour, if we're showing yellow bars, we're above 1000 positive delta or negative delta, positive delta, I'm sorry. If we get up to 2500, we're going to show this bright green color. All right. For the bearish side, if we show this purple color, we're going to be at negative 1000 delta or lower, right? Or, I mean, It's going to start at negative 1,000, and then the extreme is going to be negative 2,500, which means you should have a really big push down. All right. So instead of looking at this table right here, you can look at the candles, and the candles are going to kind of tell you the picture. So if you look at here, and let's look at 930 again. 930 is showing that we have an open with extreme delta on the buy side. So we have an imbalance of buy side buyers coming in at least 2,500 more than the sellers, and we get a big push. Now let's measure that. From the bottom of that candle to the top of it, right, to the top of that candle, about 364 ticks on a 1-minute chart. Right? If you're trading NQ, that's $1,500. All right. On the micros is going to be different depending on how many contracts you have. So when you look at this, this can really tell you when the volume comes in. So if you're just looking to get 25 ticks, it's going to be pretty easy to get that 25 ticks. Obviously, you have volatility and it's moving back and forth, so it's going to be a little bit tough, right? But at least you know the direction that the market is going. So if you're looking for it to go up, you're going to take it higher. I've also added the pocket rocket onto here so that if you're looking at it, if we have it on regular candlesticks, let's go back to 930, right? You can see the entry is right inside the pocket. Right, here's the pullback, enter in right here on this candle right here, right? Let's say you got in right here, all right, and you're only going for 25 ticks. It's way down here. Look at that. That's 23 ticks right there. Let's say you went for 50. You got greedy. You went for 50 ticks. 50 ticks is right there, right? Let's say you went for 100 ticks. This is a 1-minute chart now. All right, 100 ticks is right there. That's about half of that candle on the 1-minute chart. All right. Again, 200 ticks on the regular NQ is $1,000. Okay, so this gives you a big advantage. All right, so let's say now you're looking at this and you're waiting for an either green candle or a yellow candle, which is going to tell you that you have an imbalance of delta coming in, and now you're only looking to pick up another 100 ticks because you got 100 ticks at the open. You get in on this one right here, it's inside the pocket, and you get 100 ticks. You're done for the day. If you're trading NQ, that's $1,000. Right? If you're trading micros, again, it's based on how many contracts you have. If you're trading prop firms, you can have two minis and be done with one 100 tick move. All right, so the possibilities are endless. Okay, what this is just going to do is it's going to take whatever data that you have here. Once this gets over 1,000, and it's going to color code this candle. All right, now as added confirmation, if you want, you can add a second asset right here. We'll add ES, right, and let's move this table to the middle so that you can see it, our top center right here. All right, let's make that table bigger. I like to make it real big. All right, so there you go. All right, so here's ES. There's the data for ES. So if you really wanted to, you can look at this and see if you have 1,000 delta here, 1,000 positive delta, and 1,000 positive delta on the ES. That can work as a confirmation. It's not necessary that you have that, because once you get over M and Q, the bars are being colored. But if you want an added confirmation, you can wait for the ES to go over 1,000 also. Okay. The system is built just on a single confirmation of the MNQ. As of today, January 2026, M&Q has the highest volume of all the indices. It used to be ES. M&Q has taken that over now in the past 3 years. It's taken it over. All right, but ES is still kind of an asset you want to compare it to if you want to use that as a confirmation, right? At night, you're going to get different levels. All right, so that's why you're having this show a bull sync, because the night delta is only at 50 delta, right? But in a day, it's 1,000, right? If you can get in on that when it's accelerating above 1,000, you're almost guaranteed to get 25 ticks and probably pretty high probability to get 50 ticks. And I would say 60 to 65% to get 100 ticks. All right, those are pretty good odds if you're trading within the first 30 minutes of the golden zone. All right, so now this can be used sort of like a scalping tool without having level 2 data, without having a footprint chart. This is just on regular candlesticks on a 1-minute chart. All right, you can have the table up there. You can remove it because now the candles are going to be color coded, so it's not necessarily. I like to have it up there anyway because I like to check the ES, and it's just kind of cool when you see it. Just gives you a second place where your eyes can view it, right? Obviously, if you're looking at the candles, you can get that. So this is regular candlesticks. You can trade this on heiken ashies, right? Whichever you prefer. And the entry zone, when you have the accelerated pocket rocket on here, is between the 2 lines, right? So in between these 2 lines, on a bullish run, when both sides are green, you have positive delta. You want to get in right here, right? The same would be if you're going down. Now, the characteristics for a downtrend is a little bit different. It doesn't get into the pocket all that much. You'll get it in the beginning, and then when it's waterfalling, when it's trending down, it's going to be below the pocket. All right, it's going to be below the pocket. So if you took that and you had that trade and you took it and you shorted it, for sure this is going to be at least 50 ticks, right? Or at least 25 ticks, right? There's 25, there's 50, there's 100, which you would have got pretty easily, and there's 200, which is $1,000. All right, so this is pretty exciting to get this in candlesticks, right? You can have heiken ashii to kind of highlight the trend, if you will. Now, if you're trading this on heiken ashies, what I do is, or candlesticks, you're going to have to go into your chart and change your colors so that it contrasts with the current colors of the DPO panel and the DPO oscillator. Right? Simply go into this cog, the wheel, and change your colors right here. All right. Whatever the colors is, they should be different than the DPO candle and the DPO panel candle. All right, so do a search under DPO panel version 3.0 for the top table, and the bottom side is going to be the DPO Delta Pulse Oscillator 2.5, and you're going to be able to get that when you see it in your charts. All right, when you see it in your profile. All right, any questions, let me know. Thank you very much.